Welcome to today's episode of the Mint Door podcast. Before we begin, we're excited to introduce you to Refresh, a transformative monthly training program designed specifically for dental professionals facing team conflicts, communication barriers, and burnout. This program is your key to unlocking a purpose-driven, fulfilling life, both in and out of the dental office.
Yeah, Refresh offers practical tools and strategies to overcome stress and barriers, helping you tap into your energy and activate your true potential. Our monthly sessions are tailored to guide you in embracing your journey and excelling in all aspects of your life.
And there's more. Join our weekly open coaching sessions for deeper insights, peer connections, and expert advice. As life coaches with rich dental backgrounds, we're here to help you discover and confidently use your unique talents every day.
Yeah. Also, gain unlimited access to our extensive library of recorded modules from Refresh and guest industry experts. This treasure trove of resources is at your fingertips to help you transition from a stagnant state to a flourishing life, full of purpose and joy.
Refresh is your catalyst for a transformative journey, both professionally and personally.
Yeah. So now, welcome to today's Mint Door podcast episode. We are thrilled to have you join us as we explore two simple yet very powerful questions with our special guest, Brittany Rogars. Today, we will delve into the mind and experiences of our guest as we ask her to share her unique perspective on these two fundamental questions.
So the questions we ask aim to provide our listeners with valuable insights and guidance from someone who has achieved success and recognition in their industry. Whether you're just starting your career or you're a seasoned member of the dental industry, we're sure Brittany's perspectives and advice will undoubtedly provide you with valuable insights and inspiration.
Yeah. So please sit back, relax, and get ready to gain valuable perspective as we dive into these two simple but powerful questions with Brittany Rogars. First, a little bit about our guest.
So Brittany's story began against a backdrop of adversity, navigating through her parents' struggles with addiction. Yet, amidst these challenges, she discovered her passion for dentistry, starting humbly at a front desk. Rapidly advancing through the ranks due to her dedication, she earned her FAADOM and dental coding certification from the ADA. However, like many deeply committed professionals, she faced burnout.
So rather than seeing this as a setback, Brittany channeled her expertise into founding SKF Practice Solutions. Her focus, boosting revenue cycles for dental practices and instituting systems to ward off burnout.
Now, Brittany partners with practices across the nation, optimizing their revenue cycles, introducing scalable systems, and overseeing smooth software transitions. Through her visionary leadership and unwavering passion, she's redefining success for dental practices everywhere.
So let's get ready to go behind the mask with Brittany Rogars.
So hi, Brittany. It's super exciting to be able to get to chat with you today in the Mint Door. And we're going to jump in straight away with one of our questions for you. And this question is about the insecurities that you have hidden behind your professional mask. Maybe in the past, maybe still, maybe a little bit today. We don't know. You tell us. And how have they shaped who you are?
I think for me personally, one of the biggest insecurities that I've had to deal with is just being so young and in such a professional industry. I started in the industry when I was 20 and rose to a leadership role relatively quickly. And especially when you're dealing with doctors and professionals and just people in the dentistry and dental industry in general have been in the industry for 20 years. So to be a 20-year-old who is in the industry, that has always been my biggest insecurity. Just not feeling like no matter how much I've done or how many accomplishments I've had, I don't feel like I'm taken as seriously because I am a younger dental professional, and definitely something I'm still dealing with.
Does that change as you now get a little bit older, or is that something that still you bring with you?
I feel like even now, so I'm 30 now, and I feel like it's definitely something I still carry with me, even though I'm not one of the young newbies in the industry anymore. I still feel like I'm still the baby in the industry. I'm hoping that with time and just the more experience I get, that'll start to go away. And I feel like it's lifting a little bit. I definitely would have never been on a podcast if you had asked me to do this 5 years ago. So I feel like it's lifting a little bit, but it's definitely still there in the background for sure.
That's something that really resonates with me. When I qualified as a dentist, I was just a couple of days short of my 23rd birthday, because in England, you just do that as your first degree. There's none of the undergrad and then go to dental school. So I always felt like I was the really young one. I was young when I had my children. I felt like the really young mum. So I can feel that piece there, that it definitely affects you. But then there comes a day when you don't feel that anymore. And that's
I can't wait for that day.
It's a nice place to get to. For sure. What about you, Laura? Have you ever felt that way?
Oh, I think right out of dental school, there was a lot of question about, are you old enough to be a dentist? Are you, those kind of, so definitely working through that. But my question for you is what strengths do you think you bring being a younger person in the profession?
I love that question, because that is what is, I think, starting to shift my mindset a little bit, especially in where I'm coming in. I'm a consultant, so I'm coming in and my entire job is to make connections with these young teams and get them to trust me very quickly so we can start to implement change. And what better way to do that than, like, I can talk about all of the things that we have in common. Oh, we're both Swifties. Like, great, let's bond over Taylor Swift today. What's your favorite movie? Mine is probably the same. We're watching the same shows. So I think that is a big asset, that I can bond with the younger teams. And also the doctors that I'm working with are usually actually younger than me now. So that's also really nice, because I feel instantly more comfortable, and we're going to connect on such a deeper level because we don't have to deal with that like power imbalance because of our ages.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. I love the reflection on that, and just celebrating those strengths. And I'm curious, we're talking about young and being young, but having gone through this and having some creds now in the industry, what would you tell your younger self?
I am a huge believer in not regretting anything. So I don't regret any of the decisions that I made as my younger self. However, I definitely think I would have told myself that this is going to be an industry that I'm going to be in for a long time. When I first got into the role, I did not think this was going to be my forever job. I was like, it pays the bills. And then I later found my passion. But at that point in time, I had been kind of like flaky in the role. I didn't take it very seriously. And I think that lack of like dedication that I had in my first probably year in the industry is what built the entire foundation of all of this like insecurity that I'm still dealing with now. Because it's not that they didn't take me seriously because I was young. It's they didn't take me seriously because I wasn't taking myself seriously.
Ooh. Ooh, that's good.
I like that.
That's really good. I would just like to congratulate you. That's awesome self-reflection, and that's great for somebody to hear that may be going through some of similar situation, but really taking ownership of your path. That's fantastic. All right, so I'm going to flip it on you now. What would you tell your future self that's out there pulling you in a direction of success? What would you want to ask that future self?
I think first, so I did just do an activity like this where I had to write a whole letter to my future self. So I'm a little bit prepared for this question. Awesome. But I think, like, if I'm being honest, the first thing that I'm going to say to my future self is going to be thank you, because I didn't give up on myself at all during all of these hard times. And I think the question that I would probably ask my future self is like, how did I find the motivation to keep pushing through the tough times? Because that's really the struggle that I have every day, is like, what I have to remind myself of my why every day when it gets difficult.
Mm-hmm. Mm. That's awesome.
So you're very wise.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's probably, like, as you're talking and I'm listening to you, I think that's probably part of the magic of how you work with teams, is the fact that being young but being wise, being able to connect with younger teams and younger dentists. I think looking back, if you think of young dentists, they probably really want somebody really young to come and help them too, rather than, I mean, there's a lot of wisdom to get from people who've been in roles for a very long time, but you're bringing it with like a really fun young person's energy and helping younger people explore things about themselves in relation to their roles. I think there's so much to gain for those teams. And I know that one of the things that you really like to talk about is the power of core values.
Absolutely. I'm a huge core values freak.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the things that stuck with me most, and one of the first CE events I ever went to, was talking about how to like build your core values. And that process of building your core values, and the way they explained it was that it should be like a team effort. And that again circles back to coming back to my why every day. That very much so aligns with core values. Every single thing that I do in my business and every single thing that I work with my practices on is based around a set of core values. At the end of the day, if what we're talking about does not align with those core values, it's a no. We want to be here for supporting our mission and getting things done and having that work-life balance. And the way we can do that is by just making sure everything we're doing is aligning with the core values.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what differences do you see in teams who maybe were unsure of their core values to then, once you've worked with them and they do have that clarity?
That's a great question. And that's one of my favorite transitions to see in practices is sometimes you go into an office and there's always like one or two people who just aren't really jiving with the rest of the culture. There's like a Debbie Downer or like a pot stirrer in the office. And that's because they don't have alignment on why they're there. And once your entire team is on board and they know, here are the 5 rules that we live by in this practice, we hire, fire, eat, sleep, and breathe these core values, then everybody's more aligned. And you see a lot less of those personalities in your office who are bringing you down or spreading the gossip or showing up late all the time, or just the people who are generally not a good fit for your practice tend to weed themselves out when you're very aligned with what you're looking for.
So a little bit of work on the front end and then aligning with those core values can save you a lot of headache on the back end. What I'm
Absolutely.
hearing.
Yeah, for sure. And it's kind of a fun project to start to develop core values with your team. And then the real struggle comes as you grow and it becomes like easy to forget about those core values. So staying true to them, not just the month that we make them, but every single day from now until forever, is really the challenge that comes from that. But it is a really fun activity to do together with your team. And then once you guys are all in alignment, it's pretty smooth sailing after that.
Okay, so I have a question for you. If somebody's listening to this and they're thinking, oh, this sounds like something that my practice needs. I'd really like to explore core values. Do you have just a simple tip for, how to get started with something like that?
Yeah, for sure. So I think the easiest way to get started is to bring it up in a full team meeting. Let's start brain mapping some words that we think really fit our culture and our mission and what we want to look like. And then each day you guys put that up on the wall and you guys start like voting for them. And that's like, it works for you. You don't have to spend a ton of time formulating it, but which 5 words got the most votes? Which 5 words does our team feel like this really represents us? And then there you go. You've got your 5 words.
That's great. Thank you. That's super simple.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm really interested in asking this next question. I'm really excited about it, actually, because, when we were getting to know you through our messaging, we found out that you have an interest in furniture flipping.
I do. I'm not going to say I'm great at it, but it is a newfound passion. I stumbled upon this like TikTok video where a lady was yard sale purchasing furniture and then turning it into these like fantastic pieces of art. And I was like, I'm the type of person who believes I can do anything, even when have absolutely no knowledge on how to do it. So I took my most prized possession, my great grandma's buffet, and completely flipped it, stripped it down. It took me probably 6 months to get through because I had to step away from it so many times because it was so stressful. But now it's become like this huge passion of mine. Anytime it's yard sale season, I'm always on Facebook Marketplace looking for little projects that I can turn around and flip. And now my house has got all this beautiful stuff in it. And eventually I'm going to have to start getting rid of some stuff and selling it back in yard sales. But at least now it'll be like this beautiful piece instead of that like dorm room nightstand that we purchased for $20 on Marketplace.
That's so cool to do that. And I share that passion with you. I haven't done it very much since I've moved to the United States, but when I was in England, I would go to the auctions and buy the stuff that, it wasn't going for very much, and then turn it around. Now, the most difficult bit for me was getting paint off like turned legs when they were very intricate, like, and getting around the creases. When you did your grandmother's piece of furniture, what was the most difficult bit out of that? Because you said it was stressful. So what was the most bit difficult?
Ironically, it was the legs. All those old furniture pieces have like this like hand crafted, beautiful, intricate legs. And how am I supposed to get the stain off of that?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's ironic because that is exactly what the most stressful part was. It took me forever.
Yeah. It's
Were
not
there
the legs.
Oh, good. Were there
I was
some
going to say the legs are difficult.
Yeah. Probably some choice words when you were trying to do that, right?
A few, yeah.
Oh, well, someday you'll have to share some of your before and after photos with us. That's right up both of our alleys, and we'd love to see the transformations that you create.
Yeah, I'd love that.
Awesome. All right. Well, you have a special offering for our audience, and it's a RCM, which is Revenue Cycle Management, right? Toolkit. Can you tell us a little bit about that and how somebody could access that?
Absolutely. So my Revenue Cycle Management Toolkit is essentially everything that I do for my RCM clients. I put that into a PDF file. It's got letters that you can use to send to your patients. It's got an AR timeline in it. It's got what codes need what attachments to send to insurances. So basically everything you need to kind of streamline your accounts receivable in your practice all in one PDF download. And I have that available for you guys. It's at skfpracticesolutions.com/RCM toolkit. And then you'll use the code MINTDOOR to get access to that.
Super cool. That sounds very valuable. Thank you. Wow.
Yeah, you're welcome.
We haven't talked any like specific business wise. So that really highlights a lot of how you help practices right there, and sounds very valuable. Tell us a little bit. You also have a membership platform called the Strategic Knowledge Framework. Tell us a little bit what that is.
Yeah, so just a little bit about what I actually do. I got so excited to talk to you guys, I forgot to cover that part, but I work with clients to help reduce burnout in their teams. So I'm working with offices to essentially outsource any of the headaches to help promote that work-life balance. And I do that by offering software training and the RCM side. I work with open dental software users and exclusively with those software users because I am an expert on their systems. So I'm able to help them really fine tune everything and remove redundancies and get everything really streamlined. So that being said, my framework that I have available is a monthly membership, and people get access to one-on-one coaching sessions with me every month, so they can come on and do like a Q&A if they have any questions. It's also a bank full of tools, just like my RCM toolkit. I've got all the digital downloads, PDFs in there, training tutorials, and over 20 hours of video trainings as well. So if you're ever like, I forgot how to do this thing that I haven't done in a while, you can just jump right on there and check out the training video. And there's also SOPs that you can print for each video as well.
Sounds like an amazing resource.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it sounds like you're the master of resources.
Mm-hmm. I really like it. Organization is kind of my thing. So anything that we can just like file and color code. Great.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing a little bit about your journey, a little bit about what makes you who you are, and sharing your furniture flipping side gig with us as well. That's really interesting. But I'm curious, if somebody's listening to this and they want to find out more, they're interested in the toolkit, they're interested in the coaching, the framework, or just working with you, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Yeah, I am at SKF Practice Solutions on all of the social medias. So you can find me on any of those. My email address is info@skfpracticesolutions.com. So you can get in touch with me through there, through my website, or any of the socials.
Fantastic. Well, I want to say that we will make sure and include all of your links in the show notes below. So if anyone's listening to this, don't worry, you can reach back to the show notes and we'll link everything up. But Brittany, thank you so much for sharing your expertise and your personality with us. It's a joy to know who you are and to know how you improve the world through all of your strengths and core values and virtues. So thanks for being on the Mint Door podcast today.
Thank you guys so much for having me. This has been fantastic.
Awesome. All right. Well, listeners, we adore you, and we hope you found some encouragement from our podcast today. We will see you on the next episode of the Mint Door podcast. Bye.
Bye.